Hello, my name is Andy, and I am the village idiot. I'm normally armed with a car, but I've still got a GoPro and an unhealthy amount of time on my hands. Welcome back to Burnley for the final time, the 8th parish of the 8 here in the borough. And there were times yesterday it didn't look as though I was ever going to make it here, but here I am. And I'm on something called the Padiham Greenway, because this is the town of Padiham. Here's my disclaimer for people who may be watching me for the first time. I say things as I would in my native accent and dialect. As a result, I may not pronounce things in the same way as the locals do. Remember, I'm a visitor. It's impossible to know everything. Leave me a comment, spin me a like, and bash that subscribe button. Let's get to today's parish video. Padiham is our final stop in the Borough of Burnley, and it's the only civil parish with town status in the borough. It's located about 3 miles west of Burnley. Originally by the River Calder, it's edged by the foothills of Pendle Hill to the northwest and northeast. The United Kingdom census in 2011 gave a parish population of 10,098, although it's estimated now to be slightly higher. In 2019, the latest stats put it at 10,138. Padiham was once a township in that massive ancient parish we all know so much about by now, and it became a civil parish in 1866. Councillors for Padiham on Burnley Borough Council are elected to the Gawthorpe ward, which covers most of the town, but not Gawthorpe Hall, as that's within Ightenhill. Southern and eastern areas of the town are covered by Hapton with Park Ward. Burnley Borough Council addresses any public correspondence to the people here as both Burnley and Padiham. It's undergone numerous changes over many decades, most notably expanding and redeveloping during the Industrial Revolution. The town centre is now a conservation area. Now, owing to the fact that obviously I don't have a car for this one like I did with Ightenhill, as I explained in the last episode, this is something of a hastily replanned route. My original route was to go all around the town, but of course now I can't. All I'm doing is following the Padiham Greenway on foot into the town centre, and then it's a walk around the town centre and maybe catch a few other bits and bobs, ending up somewhere, I don't know where yet, at a place where I can catch a bus which will take me back towards Burnley. So yeah, it's a bit of a hastily replanned route, but hopefully I still catch most of the important things in the town. Here's a potted history of the town. Padiham has no known prehistoric or Roman sites, and it's not recorded in any literature until 1294, when it was known as Padyngham. It does though have a name of Anglo-Saxon origin. For centuries it's been a market town where produce from Pendleside was bought and sold. In some ways, Padiham is the embodiment of what I expected of a small Lancashire town. Tight, narrow, cobbled streets, just like this one. Padiham's population peaked around 1921 at about 14,000, declining to 10,000 in the early 1960s, and it reached a low of 8,998 at the time of the 2001 census. This reflected how people were moving to the south of England in search of work after the decline in the traditional cotton, coal and engineering manufacturing industries. Speaking of industry, in the 19th century Padiham was based around coal mining and weaving. Helm Mill on Factory Lane was the first mill built in 1807. By 1906 there were 20 cotton mills, and the best preserved is now converted into flats. That's Victoria Mill in Ightenhill Street, built between 1852 and 1853 and extended in 1873. Many cotton workers belong to the Padiham Weavers Association, whose membership peaked in 1907 at over 6,000. Industrial development was helped by the proximity to the Leeds-Liverpool Canal, about 2 miles to the south and within the current boundaries of Hapton. By 1848, Padiham had many coal pits around the town, including 2 large collieries and a number of smaller workings. Availability of coal and water nearby helped to boost the cotton industry. The last pit closed about 1870, although mining continued in areas outside the town into the 1950s, and open cast mining took place in the 1960s east of the town close to Gawthorpe Hall. Since the 1990s, Paddyham's role as a manufacturing base has declined. The sector's last major employer closed its factory in 2007. Padiham also had a power station until 1993. A modern business park, Shuttleworth Mead, opened in 2001 on the western edge of the town where it used to stand. Now, I'm making all this sound like it's doom and gloom in this part of Burnley, but that's not the case. Padiham is bouncing back. Let's learn about who lives here next. Padiham has the largest population of all the Burnley parishes, and by some margin, with over 7,000 difference between it and second placed Worsthorne with Hurstwood. Its population density is 1,610. It's 98.1% white British, almost 60% are of working age, and given it's on multiple bus routes into Burnley, we can consider its residents commuters. House prices in Padiham have an average cost of £123,000. That's based on 140 sales in the last 12 months. A typical terraced house here goes up for sale for £97,000. Is this typical Lancashire weather? 1 minute bright sunshine, the next minute snowing. It's crazy. Of course, this is a small town, so there are way too many shops to list them all one by one. You know what that means? It's montage time. Taj Gourmet that you can see behind me here. You guys know I like a curry. On my first night here, I ordered from them. I can tell you, mighty fine. Education, and here is Shuttleworth College. This opened in 2006 and amalgamated the students from the former Gawthorpe High School and Habersham High Sixth Form. There are a number of other schools too. This one is St Leonard's Voluntary Aided C of E Primary. And literally just a stone's throw from Shuttleworth College is Padiham Primary School. The old National School on Mill Street was built in 1830 and used until 1904. My route passed a nursery, Adventure Tots, and this is on Victoria Road. It occupies a former chapel house. Okay, pubs, and Padiham has plenty of these, all within easy reach of each other. Not that I'm suggesting it, but a pub crawl is possible here. This one is the Hand and Shuttle. At number 1 Church Street is the Starkey Arms. Keep that name in mind because later we'll be seeing something related to it, not too far away from the pub. The King's Arms hit the local news during the coronavirus pandemic as the landlady was sacked for holding parties during the national lockdown in 2020. Now this one is no longer a pub, but I imagine you can still get a beer in here. It was the old Black Bull and it's now called the Cellar. It's a restaurant. And lastly, we have the Hare and Hounds, which is handily close to Padiham football and cricket grounds. Bear in mind, there may be more. These are just the ones I passed. St Leonard's Parish Church dates from 1866 to 1869 and it's a Grade 2 listed building. It occupies the site of an earlier church dating back to 1451 or earlier. The original churchyard did not extend so far north as it does today. In 1802, proposals were made to extend it and remove nuisances, in inverted commas, on the north side of the church. This occurred in 1835. It seems likely that the former premises of Padiham Grammar School were purchased and demolished at that time as well. There are other places of worship too. This one stands close to a park, which we'll come to shortly. This is the Nazareth Unitarian Chapel. This next area all forms part of Padiham Memorial Park, designed by Thomas Mawson, a prolific landscape designer. It has a few things within it or close to it, like this leisure centre. Here's a pump track as well. The park covers 12 acres on 2 sites, divided by the River Calder. This area is what's known as the lower section. The upper section is mainly formal, dominated by Ightenhill House, currently used as an Age UK day centre. It has a rose garden, lawns and 2 memorials. The lower section also has 2 bowling greens, tennis courts and a skate park. The park is a Green Flag Award winner and still had remains of some Second World War air raid shelters in 2008. Sport now. Padiham Football Club are an English football team who play in the North West Counties League Premier Division. They were formed in 1878. Padiham were amongst the first football clubs in Lancashire and attracted an attendance of 9,000 for a match against Burnley in 1884. In more recent times, they're famed for something else. So this ground was the scene of perhaps one of the most famous footballing comebacks in recent times, when Padiham played Widnes. I'll see if I can find a short clip of what happened in the final 2 or 3 minutes of that game. So I found a clip of the game in question. Padiham are in the blue and Widnes are in the yellow. I've done my best to bleep out as much of the swearing in the crowd as I could. There's a police station in Padiham, which is what I was trying to capture here, but the rays of the bright sunlight sort of got in the way. There's also a fire station. This is what's known as a retained fire station, and firefighters are not on site 24 hours a day here. Healthcare-wise, Padiham has you covered. This building is the Padiham Primary Healthcare Centre, which provides primary care for Padiham and surrounding areas. And then we have Woodside Home for older people, registered to provide accommodation and personal care for up to 44 older people. Lastly, in this section is Padiham Town Hall on Burnley Road, built in 1938 to designs by Bradshaw, Gas and Hope. This is a Grade 2 listed building. I started this episode on the Padiham Greenway, and you might have already guessed what it used to be. It was a former railway line, and Padiham once had a railway station on it. It was a branch line known as the Great Harwood Loop of the East Lancashire line from Burnley to Blackburn. It opened in 1877, closed in 1957, and the station was later demolished. The line was retained for deliveries of coal to Padiham Power Station until that closed in 1993, before being converted into a footpath, bridleway and cycleway called Padiham Greenway. Many bits of the former railway infrastructure still exist along the Greenway, like some of the old railway bridges over the road. You get some good views of the town from it too. Padiham War Memorial can be found at the main entrance to Padiham Memorial Park's upper section. Near this is an air crash memorial recalling several local people killed in 1970. This is a town that likes to look pretty despite all that doom and gloom I was hinting at earlier. These flowers were donated by Padiham Flower Show, just one of the many displays it has. The River Calder is the most obvious natural landmark in the town. It flows right through it under a bridge. As we mentioned in Ightenhill, in the early 19th century its course was different. That was to take it away from Gawthorpe Hall because of pollution. In the 1960s, the river was rerouted to its original course to accommodate open cast coal mining. Originally, Padiham Football Club were based at a ground that was on the banks of the River Calder, hence why their nickname is the Caldersiders. Now, as far as beaches go in Lancashire, most people would think of Blackpool, but there's one here, in Padiham. So this is Padiham Beach, which is a nickname for this area that basically started as a joke within the local community. However, it seems Padiham Beach is now something of a local landmark. Over the last few years, it's racked up droves of fake 5-star Google reviews, even fooling some folk into thinking it's a legitimate site to come and visit. The funny thing is, it's not all that bad. Over the river we have a bridge which was widened in 1904 to remove a sharp bend in the road, which had previously proved troublesome, particularly since the advent of trams in the 1880s. The road is clearly marked as the major route through Padiham on Yates's 1786 map, having become in 1754 and 55 part of the turnpike road from Blackburn to Burnley, the first in East Lancashire. The bridge had, however, been crucial to Padiham's development long before that. There's another pub close to here, by the way, called the Bridge Inn. This is the former Padiham Building Society headquarters, a 2-storey building with an underground vault. It was constructed between 1955 and 1958 and officially opened in 1959. An 1845 map showed Padiham in the early days of the Lancashire cotton industry in Victorian times, with 3 mills marked. This appears to be one of those mills. I found 2 plaques which were very interesting. This one pertains to the old courthouse where John Starkey and Richard Shuttleworth heard evidence of witchcraft in 1633. Arguably, this one was just as interesting as that. This one's on the side of the former commercial inn, which was known as the Bottom Drum, as it was frequented by bandsmen after practice. And the main vehicular entrance to Gawthorpe Hall marks the final stop on our tour of the town. There are in fact 4 other significant mansions in the local area. These include Huntroyd Hall and Simonston Hall, the latter dating from 1660 in nearby Simonston. Whilst they remain privately owned, Gawthorpe Hall was donated to the National Trust in 1970. You'll notice that Barnfield Training Centre, the training ground for Burnley Football Club, can be accessed via this entrance as well, although it's just over the border into Ightenhill. Alright, it's time for the final pitch bit of the Burnley series, the town of Padiham. And here that comes right now. And this is the end of the Burnley series. It's the end of the Padiham episode, and that brings the first district of Lancashire to a close. It's been a bit challenging with having no car for the last 2 episodes, but I've managed. One thing you will learn about me, guys, if you're new and watch the whole Burnley series, if you're a Burnley local, one thing you'll learn if you stick around is that I do not mind walking. Shoes were made for walking, and these feet have walked miles in their time, and they're going to walk plenty more miles too. It's nice to have a car, it's nice to drive around, and it's nice to get places with it, but where that's not possible, you have to use Shanks's pony, I'm afraid. But I don't mind doing it. that's Burnley, that's the whole series. Look out for a roundup video that's coming up soon as well to catch all the little bits that I haven't covered in this district. But for now, this has been the parish of Padiham, the town of Padiham, the district and borough of Burnley in Lancashire, and I've been Andy, also known as the Village Idiot, and I'm out.